How's it going? Dan here again. Today I'm going to talk about blocking pitches that are right down the middle or straight in front of the catcher. There are different techniques which I'll go over in the coming videos over the next couple of weeks and months where you can block pitches to the arm or the throwing hand side and then to the glove side. And so I'm going to teach you the way that I think is a fundamental way to block that kids should be learning. I know there's other techniques out there. But this is the way that I learned as a kid and was able to be really successful with it. I wasn't the greatest hitter, probably about, in high school, definitely above average, but then in college was about average. But what got me into games a lot of times was my defense, which is nice about being a catcher. It's not to say that you shouldn't go try to be a great hitter, but if you lack there a little bit, but you're really good defensively, that'll get you in lineups a lot. And then a lot of times pitchers will request you. At least that's what happened to me because I could catch and frame well. I could block balls as well too. So I kept the ball in front, let them feel like they could throw any pitch they wanted to, and they'd know that I was going to be able to take care of it and handle it. And the managers or my coaches knew, all right, you know, Dan's behind home plate, like we're going to have a solid game with minimal mistakes back there. Because I learned the fundamentals, just like I'm trying to teach you. And so when it comes to blocking, I'm going to try and break it into 3 steps with 2 side steps to make sure that you're being extra safe. But the 3 steps are really simple. Number 1 is getting your glove down. Number 2 is dropping to your knees. And number 3 is using your chest and your chest protector to keep the ball close to you by sort of paddling it down a little bit. Okay? So glove down, knees down, paddle with your chest. Okay? And so regardless if somebody's on base or not, so remember in other videos, and I'll make more too to go over these more deliberately, if there's nobody on base, you could be in a primary stance where if there's somebody on base, you might be more in an active or called a secondary stance. Okay? So regardless if somebody's on base or not, I'm of the opinion that especially developing catchers, you should block everything. Even if it doesn't matter if it gets by you because nobody's on base and they can't steal, block that ball. Every time that you are catching a pitch or you're in practice or you're in a scrimmage or game-like situation or in lessons or whatever, it's a chance for you to get better. And those chances where you deliberately put effort into everything that you're doing, those accumulate over the course of time. So I'd encourage you to block no matter what the situation is, okay? So let's go through those steps in action. So step 1, like I said, is getting the glove down. All right, so let's say you're in your primary stance, set up, you recognize the ball is going to be in the dirt. You want to get that glove down first and immediately, okay? You get that glove down and you get your hand behind it. Notice that the thumb is not out to the side. That's a really good way to jam that thumb up and give yourself a good thumb injury. I've hurt this thumb about 10 to 12 years ago, and when I catch people throwing really hard, it still hurts at times, so I have to wear a brace. So from experience, keep that thumb protected, okay? So back to it. Ball's coming in, you know it's in the dirt, get that glove down, okay? Notice it's not back up in here, it's out in front a little bit. Not super far out in front, but kind of medium out in front, all right? So glove goes down, hand behind the glove. Step 2 is dropping to the knees, okay? So here I am, glove, knees, all right? Step 3 is paddling the ball down, okay? And what that does is when the ball hits your chest and you paddle it down, it keeps it somewhere in the vicinity of where you are, so you're really close to it. So if there's a runner on, you can get to the ball really quickly and make a play to second base, or if it's a strike 3 that goes in the dirt and you have to block it, you can quickly get up and make a play to first base if you can't tag the runner out. Okay, so let's go through these again, and then I'll give you my 2 side caveats to make sure that when you do this, you're extra safe. Okay, so once again, in your stance, glove in hand, that goes down first because, and the reason I make a big point about that is the baseball and softball guys have a funny way of working, and if you don't get that glove down fast enough, it's pretty common that ball shoot right through the legs, which is kind of embarrassing. And a little bit risky because you're exposed a little bit without that glove protection as well, and your hand's in front of you a little bit more. So get that glove down first. Don't let that ball go through the 5-hole, all right? So you're here, glove, hand behind the glove, knees, okay? And then chest comes down to paddle the ball. Notice it's not all the way down here, it's just slight. Because if you're upright like this and you don't get that paddling action, that ball is going to be more likely to ricochet off, okay? Now, let's go through 2 safety points when you're down in the blocking position. Number 1, which is the most critical one, is making sure that when kids are blocking the ball, they look it into their chest protector. Because a lot of times when they're learning, it's really nerve-wracking. Like, if you have a projectile object coming at you that's hard and someone's throwing it between maybe 40 to 60 plus miles an hour as a youngster, that's not a, that's a scary thing to do. It's not something that a lot of people feel motivated to go do, take a ball right to the chest, all right? So what you wanna make sure they do is keep that chin tucked and look the ball in. So that way it protects their neck area, okay? So glove, hand, knees, paddle, and keep the chin tucked, okay? The head down, look the ball into the chest, all right? So that's caveat number 1. And then the second caveat is making sure the elbows stay outside of the body. It broadens how big you are behind home plate, so it gives a little more surface area for the ball to hit, because it's not going to be perfect often, because remember, the main thing when it comes to blocking is making sure the ball stays in front of you, all right? So you can look really ugly, but as long as the ball stays in front, that's fine, all right? But you want to make sure you try and do it to the best of your technical ability and protect yourself. So by getting the arms out, you widen the surface area for the ball to hit you, even if it hits you in the arms, okay? And then B, the reason is because if you get the hands like this and the forearms are out in front, A, you make yourself smaller, like I just said, but B, you're gonna open yourself up to more balls hitting your arms and also ricocheting off, okay? Now don't worry, you're still gonna get those really cool lace marks at times because the balls will still hit you on the arms out here, but doing it out here and getting hit in the arms might make it ricochet, and it's unnecessary bruises. Battle scars that are necessary, okay. Battle scars that are unnecessary, why, okay? So once again, in your stances, whatever one you're in, someone not on base or somebody on base, okay? The glove goes down, okay? Knees, chest, keeping the chin tucked. Notice the arms are outside of the body, okay? So those are 3 steps that you can start to develop your blocking skills with. It's really good to go slow, make sure that the technique is exactly right. Glove, knees, chest, glove, knees, chest, or glove, knees, paddle. And as you get fast at that, I'll make another video where we could start to add some more dynamic aspects into the drills where there's a ball actually getting thrown at you, so you have to practice it in a more dynamic situation.